John McAfee, of course, doesn't need any introduction. The inventor of the multi-billion-dollar antivirus software, McAfee. And the new article's out on Infowars.com. Dark Web Rising, McAfee founder to launch new NSA privacy device. And I want to get into that with him. But we got to go to break in a minute because we're late getting him on. First, I want to ask how he's been doing since he was tried to be set up down there in famously piratical Belize. And then what else has happened since we haven't talked to him in about 4 or 5 months. John, thank you so much for coming on with us, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Alex. I really enjoyed being on your program.
Again, whoismcafee.com? Is that the best website?
That's the best website, sir. Okay,
we're going to break here in a few minutes. Just update us on how you've been doing since you got out of that terror operation down there. I would add, months after you were on, riots and plots did come out in the news out of Belize, really boosting your credibility.
Well, yes, actually a lot of things that come out. They just got rid of their Minister of Internal Security because he was selling passports to the Koreans and got caught by Interpol. So anyway, I've been doing fine. I've been working on my new project. I'm very alarmed with what's happening in privacy in America and the invasive tactics of the NSA. And I have been working on this device for a number of years. I've accelerated it in the past few months, and we'll have a prototype working in 6 months. It prevents the NSA or any government agency from accessing anything that you wish to do electronically.
Very exciting. Can you give us any tidbits on how it works, or the...
Yeah. Basically, it's a little hardware device, which is a communicator. There's no screen on it. You drop it in a pocket, and an application that runs on your iPhone or your Android or whatever device you're using, including laptops and iPads. And it basically turns your telephone into two devices, one which connects to the internet normally for whatever, and the other which creates a completely secure local web which is relayed across the world. The local web, nothing can identify you as where you are, what your name is, nothing, no ID even to the hardware device.
So it's a proxy device.
It's a proxy device, but it's a completely secure proxy device. The encryption is something that I personally have developed. The NSA nor any other agency is involved. And that's the problem now. The NSA helped, if you use the word in quotes, every technology company develop their encryption techniques. Well, what idiocy is? Of course they can break them.
Well, yeah. In fact, I've read about them pressuring people, saying it's a disruptive technology if they don't let them put a back door in it. You're, of course, an expert on this. I couldn't think of a better guest to break down what's happening with the NSA than Mr. McAfee. Whoismcafee.com is the website. Are we choosing our own destiny, or has it been pre-selected for us?
As we've moved through history, every great leader has had to understand the potential of information.
Billions of dollars have been spent privately and publicly looking at how to tap into your psyche.
From compulsory state education to the Hollywood media brainwashing machine, we are kept in perpetual bondage to the ideas that shape our actions.
When somebody obscures that feedback loop between you observing and testing it out and verifying it, they can take total control of your awareness.
All of this is happening so fast, you need to be ahead of the game.
How to engineer the opinion of the American people so that they would not only endorse but demand a war.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit.
State of Mind, because there's a war on for your mind. Get your copy of State of Mind, the movie, at Infowars.com. And remember, every order at InfoWarsStore.com receives a free citizen rulebook. Well, one of the pioneers of internet security, worked for NASA, Xerox, then started McAfee. Whoismcafee.com. John agreed to come on our show first, and Joe Rogan second, because he was told by people he trusted that he could trust us. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I believe most of what he was saying, but it was so wild about the passports and about the certain Arab groups. He even named what groups by name. And then it all came out in the press. He was being accurate later. And all I can say is he's really blessed to be alive. John, this is a short segment. I know you want to get into Obamacare. From what I've seen, it's the legalization of the NSA. It data mines everything. I know you've been writing about that. As an expert, tell us about that. And I can't wait till this device comes out as well.
Well, yeah, the problem with Obamacare, and this is just from a technological standpoint, Alex, is that there is absolutely no security at all. For example, I can create a website, claim to be an agent, and ask, let you log on, and because it's a healthcare system, I can ask you the most intimate questions, and you're going to answer them online. I will then get your Social Security number, your birth date, all the information I need to assume your identity and empty your bank accounts the following day. And yet, there's nothing in this central system that I can go to verify that this is a legitimate website. It's insane. It is insane beyond belief. And I don't know who thought this thing up, but they have to be a complete idiot.
Or they want to bring down the whole ID system and force everyone onto biometrics via brainwaves, which is what Toyota and others are going to.
Well, I don't have a clue about that, but I know that it is the most insecure thing for Americans now. If you're signing up for Obamacare, you have no idea if it's a legitimate website, and I can tell you now, the cost to the consumers, to the American public, in terms of identity theft and their bank accounts being wiped out is going to be many times the entire cost of the Obamacare program. This is insane.
Sure, my point is they're coming out with cars that start via your brainwave fingerprint. Well, now they're just going to steal the signature of your brainwave or cut your finger off to get into these iPhone 5s. You, as a top security expert for decades, what is the best form of Internet security?
Common sense is number one, okay? But if you, for example, let's use Obamacare. I would, if you're going to be signing up at all, make sure that it's a legitimate site. Number two, never ever give out information that's private to you, even if your own bank calls you and you're sure that it's the same bank. Okay, wait a minute, that should be on file with you already. Why are you calling me?
Look at how Academy Sporting Goods always asks for your number, your zip code. Somebody could be listening right there, steal your credit cards, and then use your credit cards with that zip code.
Absolutely. So you just never speak it, you never write it, you never give it to anybody. And if someone's asking you for it, what the hell are they asking it for? Excuse my language. Why are they asking you? This is the problem. We are so gullible, some of us, that we go, well, okay, it's the government, it must be safe. Or, it's my bank calling me, it must be okay. Well, it's very seldom safe. Never give out anything about yourself. Not your home address, not the name of your wife, not the name of your parents, not where you were born, nothing. And if people ask for it, be suspicious. Be really suspicious.
Well, you know how much is, obviously but for listeners, thieves all over the world now sit with scanners picking up all the cordless phone traffic where you're on the bank giving them all your info. That's how they're stealing all the identities.
Absolutely. It's one of the ways they're stealing it in every sort of way. But now the government is actually one of the hackers in my mind. I mean, they're wanting inside your head. They're wanting to know your intentions. They want to know who you're with, who your friends are, why you're friends with them. Something is seriously wrong here. Privacy, in my mind, is one of our unique and inalienable rights. The right to privacy we have lost as American citizens.
We were all brought up to the Soviet Union, 1984, fiction, this nightmare. We're beyond 1984, aren't we, John?
We're way beyond 1984. When it reaches the point that I can be in some remote part of the world, calling another friend of mine in some remote part of the world, and our government is capable of listening in. Well, remember in 1984, there were actually safe parts of the world where there was no government spying. Well, that's not the case in this case. No matter where you are, you can be seen, watched, and heard.
But then if I try to go to the NSA or my reporters do just to ask questions at the front gate, they flip out and act like we're terrorists.
Well, also, you're probably going to get audited.
Well, I mean, it just shows they want all their privacy from us, but we have no privacy.
Absolutely. Ask the government what it's doing, and you become an enemy. Yet you try to keep the government from knowing what you do, then you become the enemy as well. It's like insane. There's no hope in the system until we regain some inalienable rights that are in our Constitution.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
My judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
You're not in the Twilight Zone. You're in the New World Order, where the inmates run the asylum. John McAfee is our guest, who is McAfee.com. All right, there's so much going on in the world. Let's get into the NSA. Let's get into the power grab, the panopticon, the technocracy they're trying to build, sir, and how you think culturally we can change this and stop this, and what you think is also most positive about what's happening right now after you cover what's most negative.
All right. I think the first thing I'd like to say is what's needed, Alex, is we need to stop being afraid. For example, it's fear that allowed us to let the government at the end of 9/11 create the Homeland Security, all of the things that getting on an airplane now. You know, I travel a lot, so it's like I get halfway undressed 5 times a week just to travel somewhere, so that they can make sure I'm not a threat to America. We're afraid, many of us. They're using that against us. What my product, for example, Sony Enterprises has called my intended product, a dangerous product, because it will allow the crooks and hackers of the world to not be seen. Well, you know, people also use telephones as the criminals use telephones. Do we get rid of telephones?
But the hackers already know all this stuff, so this is for the general public to protect themselves. It's the same argument against guns, saying you can't have a gun, you might hurt somebody. No, I need a gun to protect myself.
Absolutely. And we need a privacy to protect ourselves. And so, of course, anything that we build which is positive is going to be used by the criminal elements of society. We can't stop it. They use telephones. They use cars to get away from bank robberies. What do? We take cars away from people. So this is insane to use this rationale for don't let McAfee build that product because it's dangerous. It's going to let crooks get away with things. Well, it's also going to let me be private, and you be private, and all of us be private. So what do? Do we sacrifice our privacy for the illusion of safety? There can't be safety without privacy, Alex.
John, are we going to be able to turn this around?
You know, I'm not sure. It's going to depend on all of us, isn't it? I mean, this is still America. We still have the right to vote, and we still have the right to think for ourselves. If we will stand up and go, I'm not going to be afraid anymore, and go to that booth and vote these people out, all 100% across the board, and bring in people who say, yes, we've become crazy as a society. We have got to return to sanity. It's up to us, Alex. We have to do something. We can't sit back and let somebody else do it for us. Are we willing to do that? That is the question.
Well, as you know, most great empires and cultures end up committing suicide by madness. Those who the gods would destroy, they first make mad. And we really are collectively, I've talked to a lot of executives, a lot of people, and they say general craziness and self-destructiveness is increasing. Are you seeing that?
Of course it is. I mean, absolutely, across the board. We're becoming a very insane society here. A self-destructive society. It's obvious. Open our eyes to look around you. You see it, I see it, everybody has to see it. We're closing our eyes to it sometimes because it requires courage to see the truth. Do we have the courage?
Let me ask you this question, because this is what I dread at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's not the smart, evil tyrants we face, because they've got to be dealt with, but the general morass and laziness and dumbed downness, not of the whole public, but of a sizable 30–40% of people who don't even know what party Obama's in Man on the Street interviews we've done and others have done, but support it. Or who don't even know their state capital, who don't even know one branch of government, much less 3. But they have this arrogance to them where they don't care, and they politically want to take our guns. They want the state to raise our kids. They are flaming authoritarians posing as so-called liberals when Thomas Jefferson would literally spit on them. And then you've got the fake conservatives that are a bunch of tyrants as well. But I got to say, I've never been a partisan guy. The Democrats, though, are really making their move right now. What do we do as producers when all these stupid parasites that literally can't tie their shoelaces want to run our lives? What do we do about that?
Well, you know, first of all, the reason that many people are indifferent is because it's easy to be indifferent. It's easy not to know what's going on, not to know what party the president is in, because if you don't know, it can't scare you.
That's what my dad said last night.
If you don't know, then you can imagine anything that you want and pretend that that's true. That's what's happened here, and that's what this world has become. We don't want to know many times, because if we know, we have to do something. We don't want to do anything because doing something is scary. I think that's the fundamental problem. We have to bring a mirror in and let people look at themselves and look at the truth of what's really happening here.
I had dinner with my dad.
I'm not a sociologist. I can build a product, which is what I'm doing, that you can drop in your pocket that's going to give you privacy. But I can't change the way people think, unfortunately.
Sure, no. I mean, I had dinner with my dad last night, and I said, why are they so dumb? Why don't they care? And he said, no, they don't want to know. They're scared. They're delusional, and they want to just be left alone. And I guess what you said is absolutely true. That's it. They think they're protected by not caring, but their not caring is what's allowing the evil to take over.
Absolutely, and that's the problem here. You know, I mean, you know, I will do anything to help people have the right to protect themselves, to have a gun, to do, you know, to their own privacy. You know, but the world is full of some frighteningly indifferent people now. And quite frankly, I just don't know, Alex. I just don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you, to all these indifferent people that think they're going to run my life, it's over. We, the working, thinking people, are done with you and all your bureaucrats. What do you make of the persecution of reporters? And they've told priests, if they minister to people on the military base during the shutdown, even if somebody's had a family member die, they will be arrested. I mean, just to see what a tyrant Obama's turned into, he's 1,000 times beyond Nixon and getting away with all of it. What's next?
You know, I don't know, because what we have is to me, the ultimate nightmare. I never dreamed in 1,000 years that it would come to this. So what's next? My mind can't conceive it, sir.
Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say anymore. You know, after you leave us in 5 minutes, I know you'll think of something important you wish you would have said, so I always ask this question. What else is on your mind, John, instead of me asking my feeble questions?
Well, you know, what's on my mind now is how I can position my new product so that they'll actually let me build it here in America. You know, as it looks right now, I can assure you the music industry, the movie industry, are going to be radically against it, because it means that stealing their stuff is going to be easier. But, you know, get a clue. You know, if you're building something, look at the way the world is moving and protect yourself. Don't make me stop producing something that gives us privacy.
You can't have prior constraint.
More difficult.
Yeah, you can't have prior constraint of everybody. Like we can't have privacy because we might do something wrong. That's like saying your house has got to be glass because you might do something with your privacy. This is the essence of authoritarianism. That was my question I actually wanted to ask you, and I'd forgotten to ask. They're going to try to stop you and call it disruptive technology, but there's no way, I mean, they can stop you because people really want this unless they kill you.
Well, that's another issue, sir. It's, you know, people call me paranoid. Well, maybe, but, you know, I'm still breathing, and I think I have a good reason to be paranoid. I'm always out on the edge doing things that people don't want me to do. The government, I'm sure the government does not want me to do something which is going to make the NSA powerless to get into your life. Well, you know, they're obviously going to try to stop me legally by saying, well, what you're producing is not good. We're not going to let you do it. Well, then I'm going to produce it somewhere else. I'm going to sell it somewhere else. But the technology is coming because people have to have, without privacy, we have no individuality. We become a machine. I don't want that. You don't want that. And ultimately, the world will look at itself and say, wait a minute, we have gone crazy here, and things will change.
Yeah, for those that don't know, sociologists, anthropologists, psychologists, historians all have found one element that is the most important for freedom and creativity, and that's privacy. Privacy, they don't even fully understand it, but if you don't have privacy, you're a slave. It's a very simple equation. Why is that, John? John McAfee, why do we have to have privacy? Why is it so important?
Because without privacy, sir, because we're humans and because we are imperfect, we get judged. All right, why do we do certain things in privacy? Well, because, you know, we know that what we're doing here might offend somebody's sensibilities somewhere else. What we're doing here, someone may not want us to do because of, who knows what, competition, greed, all of the things that humans have. Privacy is our protection against ourselves. All humans have the same thing. We are all, to some extent, greedy. We're we're all to some extent jealous. We are all to some extent lustful and all of the other things. And given that fact, privacy is our protection against ourselves. When we can go and do things which really are innocent without people becoming afraid of what we might be doing. And so we all have to have it. It's a necessity of life if we are to be individuals. Now, if we're in some communist state where we all think alike and dress alike and there is no change, well, you don't need privacy. But then there are no people as well. We are robots. The question is do we have the courage to remain human? I don't know. I'm going to do my part.
Well, I want to apologize to you, John. You probably don't even know why. The few times you came on our show first, I was respectful. I was nice to you. But the story was so wild, I was hedging my bets thinking, I know the guy's really smart. You know, he's really successful. I know it's the mainstream media demonizing him, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I was still, you know, a little sarcastic, a little hesitant. But now seeing everything you talked about coming out and turning out to be true, it's so fantastic. It actually happened the way you said. What an adventure. And now you're saying things that are so profound here on air. I really admire the work you're doing standing up against these tyrants. So I apologize for doubting you.
No need to apologize, Alex. You were actually the kindest of all people to me during that time. You really were. So I thank you again.
Wow. Well, John, if you ever come through Austin, we'd like to get you in studio. In fact, I'd like to do a Skype interview for my Obama Deception 2 on privacy. So talk to your folks when you can get to video Skype and want to do a 10-minute interview. I have a few questions for the film. But as soon as you come out with this device, if we're able to sell it in the U.S., I would like to be a distributor through the Infowars.com network of your product, sir.
Well, it's a done deal, sir.
Wow. Very exciting. Okay, we'll stay in touch. I'll let you go. Anything else you'd like to add, please add it. But please look in your book and tell us the next time you can give us 10 minutes via Skype so I can put you in Obama Deception 2, the film, sir.
All right, I will do that. As soon as I get off the phone, I'll call my people. Thank you very much, Alex.
All right, thank you, John. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Yeah, that guy is amazing. Again, I got to be honest. I mean, I said this on air, too. I mean, it was so fantastic when he was saying Ryerson, Chinese. He was even saying the names of the Muslim groups that were there getting all this, and that's why they came after him. And then it all came out later that, indeed, just what he said was going on. We even sat on a TV interview with him once for like a month just because I didn't even know if I could air it. It was so wild. And then it turned out it was true. But that guy's just super smart, folks. I mean, you can just hear him. He has that, you know, like a lot smarter than I am. Like I kind of get like that manic. You can tell he's a really smart guy. And just the way he boils down privacy and what it means and why it's so important. I'm really mad at myself because I get this attitude of I don't care if they know what I'm doing. Now, of course, that's their argument. Well, if you don't care, that's on the NSA website. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. If you're not doing anything wrong, don't worry. It actually says that. That is the essence of tyranny. But then I double down on it and go, I know you crooks are watching me. I know you're raping my privacy. All right, whatever. You know, but still being macho about it is wrong. I should be doing everything I can to protect my privacy. I should be protecting my security. Like, it's macho that I just strut around in public with no bodyguards not caring. But I don't even do it on purpose. I really am not afraid. It is wild. Like, I've had, like, police detectives here and FBI people and others going, man, you're crazy to go do the stuff you do, you know, by yourself with no security and all this stuff. And the more I think about it, is I have a responsibility to protect my privacy. I have a responsibility to protect my safety. And I think that's the essence of why America has fallen so far, is that we just think, so what if you scum are doing that, or we'll muddle through it. We have to stop just muddling through it and putting up with it. We've got to really take it personal and get off the grid as much as we can. And then when we go interface with the internet, because this is a great tool to fight the globalists, but they're going to try to shut this down. We've got to be creating alternatives. We've got to be trying to be privacy-oriented. We've got to use cash as much as possible. It's not that we've done something wrong. We got to keep cash alive. Once they get the cashless grid in, they can tax the daylights out of us, track us, control us, and they admit that's their plan. I mean, you could hear McAfee, you know, with bated breath. He's, I can't believe it's happening. I can't believe it's happening. Because it's really happening. They're really arresting reporters. They're really telling Catholic priests, we'll arrest you if you pray with somebody on military bases. They're really telling volunteers you can't meet with troops off base when they have a family member die. You can't go give a funeral for somebody's family. You can't give military burials. Oh, yeah, they're now telling people. My great-uncle had a military burial 2 months ago. They had guys come out and do the 21-gun salute and, you know, do the Army, you know, style thing where they walk in with a coffin and fold up the... They're talking about restricting those. And if we catch you in uniform volunteering, it's already volunteered anyways. I mean, it's disgusting what these people get away with and how we've let them walk all over us. I feel dirty. I feel pathetic. That's why so many times people say, oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful. Folks, I am not. It's not that I don't like being complimented. That's okay. It's that I am so upset that I'm not doing enough and that I can't do enough, that when people tell me how great I am all day, I don't want you to do that. I'm not great, folks. We as a people are great if we rediscover our greatness and liberty. We've got to go out and fight these people. I mean, I want to go out and stick up bumper stickers all over town to wake people up. I want to go out and confront police running checkpoints. I want to go out and protest at an abortion clinic. I want to go to Fort Hood and walk into a general's office and say, how dare you follow illegal orders to not let people have church now during a government shutdown, and tell them it doesn't matter if the priest, in the case of the Catholics, have gone public, you know, minister to people. This is outrageous. We should be saying outrageous. And, you know, they'll probably put me on some list saying we should go get in the general's face because I'm a terrorist for speaking out. I mean, it's disgusting. Everything good has been listed as terrorism under this fake threat of al-Qaeda when they run al-Qaeda publicly. They run the drugs publicly. And again, 95% of the government's not involved in the corruption, but they sit there and stand down and ignore it and are compartmentalized, which makes you complicit. Because here's another big epiphany. This stuff's all out now. And so all of you that work with the system and go along with it, you're now complicit, on record. It's gone way past the point of you being able to deny this and have plausible deniability. And here's another big epiphany. This is the biggest secret yet. I know you already know this in your gut, but we haven't said it. If they get away with all this now, with it being so naked, next they really are going to come arrest everybody and build giant death camps. Now I really believe that. I've always known it's a possibility. Now I'm sure. We have got the nastiest case of tyranny I've ever seen. God help us.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the InfoWars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happened.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.